Good evening, folks, and welcome back to Biblical Britain. It's the 10th of the 10th, 2022, and I firstly want to apologise that I've been a little delayed with this video. Unfortunately, the first week, as well it occasionally does, I got pretty much nothing, and obviously I don't want to go putting little bits and pieces into a video. I need something substantial to sort of show you, you know, the truth and the incredible things that are in this matrix. And boy, have I got some good things to show you. Absolute proof that this really is a matrix. Two major events that have happened. I've got to be careful in this video, obviously what I say, because of the nature of it, so I will be having to write down on the board, obviously, I'm going to have to omit it from the title as well, but all to do with this and and events that have taken place. The two events that we're going to look at first . And I'm going to show you how this is prophesied in the map and how amazing this matrix is. And it really, this is obviously the event or the ongoing event. And obviously this happened. Obviously somebody and everybody people are trying to blame this one. Well, we're about to discover in the most amazing way who actually did it, and I'm going to do it via using the code in the map. The second matrix, matrix, I'm going to come to that. Right, the second event is the same thing. Obviously this event has happened and these have just retaliated and obviously started attacking this, but obviously, right, well, the first thing you're going to see, well, just to give you a quick clue, we got, and I'm going to show you how we link South Wales to this and what the purpose of it and why it is indeed one of those. Okay, here we need 2 seconds, let me just get a plot. Right, okay, first thing, matrix, the word matrix. Right, when I get these messages and downloads, or downloads of triggers and messages, which is how I find all these things, which are miraculously pre-programmed or whatever you want to call it, into this divine plan that I download from above. Yahweh is his name. Not that I speak to him, but this is how it works, okay? But firstly, the word matrix, and I'm going to leave a gap. In fact, I'm going to leave a bigger gap than that. The word matrix, okay, well, as obvious as this is, I've not even thought of it or spotted it, but all of a sudden it comes into my head and I get, well, I obviously realise what this is. And bear in mind, the word matrix comes, the original word matrix is going to come out of the Bible. There's no question of that. It's written in, even in the early books of the Torah or whatever. There's 5 times that the matrix is mentioned. But there's a missing letter from this. Now, I don't know whether it was just coded this way. I'm guessing it probably was, or I feel it probably was. It was coded this way. But the symbol I get to complete this matrix, and to show you what this is all about, the symbol I get is this. Well, you will note that this is one of the Vatican symbols, basically. I don't know whether sometimes I don't know whether they've got ancient symbology, they don't even know what it means, but they put their own meaning to it. Whether they actually took it out and are boasting about it, but whichever way, this is how I'm shown hard to explain, but what things actually mean. But effectively, it's map tricks. It's a matrix of map tricks. It's written in Orion as well, and there's so many codes that actually say be all tricks in a map. Orion's riddle says I be all tricks in a map. Bellatrix on its own says be all tricks. That's a star obviously in Orion, but obviously maps are on and this is what this is all about, is just as a little rerun, it's a last message, I guess, using map tricks. Okay, I know I say this on many videos, but again, if you've been following this will make sense. But even the place that I'm actually in now is Eastleigh, just to show you how matrix this is, that I happen to work in the very place that carries these codes. The very place that I am now, and this is Yes Atlas and Marco's H. Right, the H, right, I've realised as well. Okay, right, well, obviously, as unbelievable, right, okay. Need to sort of make some points. I've quickly come to I say quickly, it isn't quickly, and I still can't comprehend it completely. But given everything that I've encoded, it says what it actually says is so outrageous in real terms. I would never ever say anything like it, and I didn't even believe that I would end up doing exactly what I'm doing now. But effectively, you know, and I'm just going by code. And I got more of it now as well, which sort of backs this up. But, and like I say, if you're new to this channel, one thing to understand, I don't say anything that I cannot back up with a map or a star constellation, or everything I'm telling you is purely from what I've decoded. And when I say decoded, I'm not actually doing this. Palma de Mallorca actually unscrabbles and perfectly says it. It says Marco led all a map. So you can, and that, obviously that being part of another code, going in and effectively exposing the false light of Rome in the Mediterranean. But these codes, everything I say, I'm going to be honest. Or say it as the code says it. The code says, and bear in mind I have no memory of anything before this life, and I would never believe any of this in a million years. But as hard as I try not, I believe me, I've been through it 100 times, million times in my head. How is this possible? But it basically says that I was sent as a sign between Yah and man and Yah, a sacrament written in the Sacramento Code. I was an archangel. Sounds crazy, I know. I don't have wings. I have no superpowers other than I just have this amazing connection that just lets me see these things week to week or even fortnightly, whatever. But in a ridiculous amount of time. I mean, this only started 2.5 years ago, really. I mean, I'm looking back, I've seen a lot of things that have happened in my life, and I'm seeing sort of markers and pointers all the way. But ultimately, it really took off when I got my caravan, which is very relevant to this as well, this video. But and I suddenly discover that my name is encoded in all these map tricks, and I basically, I've been, like I say, an archangel sent to SO. I think the last code, the Sacramento Code, says to SOS me a Marco sent to SOS me a remnant. Well, a remnant is the end times remnant. When you take into consideration, I've also got all codes for the end time safe zone, and on top of that, I'm about to show you the ark, which is absolutely stunning, and how this even connects to me. It even shows 2 places, one where I was in the crib and one where I was in the cot, and even ties up the giraffe constellation. Oh, you have to see it to believe it. But either way, I'm not. I can assure you, I'm not crazy. I don't have any sort of mental health issues, or in fact, I'm as sane as I can be. I can hold a conversation with anyone. All I know is that I find things that are mind-blowing. They blow my mind, never mind anyone else's. And what I'm about to show you is something. Well, two things in particular, recorded in the matrix of the things that I cannot speak about, that have just happened, and I'm about to show you where they are recorded in the matrix. Not once, but 2 events, just to prove that this is just absolutely 100% that there is a last message in the matrix and where this is all going. Right. Okay. Without further ado, right. I'll show you on here first what we do. Right. We take. Right, the clue for the you can work the rest out. Okay, this is right. Okay, well, basically it's been obviously been attacked. I know that there's a reason behind it, but we're about to discover who did it in the most absolutely incredible way. Okay, so the key place to work this code out is 5 miles from where I live. A place called Chepstow. Chepstow, in Welsh, there's a clue. Right, now, this is where it gets incredible. Right, the first part we've got to do is work out the code. Right, well, I already know the code, but what you do is you take the G out, that's a map coordinate. This is effectively G Roos, which is the lock. And this will make sense. I'll show you on the map as well now, the lock and the key on the 2 forts. This is the fort of Jerusalem, basically, the real Jerusalem. Okay. Now, what we do now is we also take out the H, which gives you, if you've been following this, the H always represents the key for Clanmelin. And I'm not very good at drawing keys, but you get the impression. That's making a bit more. Right, you'll see it when I show you the map. Okay, so what we have are 2. We take those 2 out, and what we have left is C. We stop. And you can even read the second part. gas went. Now, the right, now this is not what even the right, this is just the beginning. Okay, so what makes this incredible now, when we go on the map and I put a dot on, or I draw a line between the two places, the G and the H. So there's your G and the H out of the code. And then I follow the line and I go directly through Chepstow, right through the middle of the town. But all I do is I keep that in the centre, and I follow this line, follow this line, follow this line, right the way across to the Baltic Sea, and unbelievably it hits this very place. It's number 2, but it pinpoint without any, there's no deviation in it. It cuts from, you just use the centre of these. Now what's interesting, and this makes if you want to know why this base is there, the location of this military base that sits exactly between these two forts, bear in mind knowing that this is also the safe zone in Cancer. These are the star constellation Cancer, and this gives you the combined nation safe code. Well, I know there's underground tunnels under this fort, under this ex-USAF, or United States ex-military base that they've handed over now to the British Army. Obviously, this is telling you as well who's responsible for, I know who's behind it and who is responsible. This is also written because this video is about now, and if you read that as a whole, it states because they're hiding in the background, and as I say, I'll be doing this part of the video is coming next, because what they've done effectively by doing this is, any piece, the great bear, shall we call it, the big red bear, mother bear, were withholding this stuff and using it as a lever, basically, so that Germany and a few other countries would stop sanctioning them, for one, and stop supplying things that go bang, if you know what I mean, to the other team, then the team that they're sort of supporting. But by doing what they did, they basically have taken away any going back on it, and now obviously there's just no way of negotiating. So this would be crime number 1. Okay, I will show you on the map next, so just bear with me a second while I just pause you and set this up. Okay, folks, just to show you how incredible this all is. Right, let me just give you a little bit of the geography. Right, firstly, as I was showing you. Okay, let me show you the lock first. Here's the lock, which is the G. This is the walls of Jerusalem, and this is where I live, right by the Tump. So when the time comes, you know what to look for on the walls. If you follow what I'm showing you, because I've been sent to give you this message, and I 100% know it, because it's impossible that it just is. But anyway, right, so firstly, there's your padlock. This is the Temple of Solomon, which would be a whole lot bigger. And this is the house that my parents lived in. This becomes relevant on the Ark decode, which I will show you following. So, as you can see, I was born within the grounds of the temple. This being the inner sanctum, this is where the actual Ark of the Covenant would have been kept. Okay, right. I know they say if you're new to this, it's going to sound crazy, but you have to go back and see the how I found all that. Well, how I was shown all this, or what I you know, how this all adds up. Okay, let's just get that in the center. Right, and as I said, with the safe zone, this huge area here happens to be the former, on top, on the surface anyway, American Air Force Base. It's now been handed over to the British. But I can assure you, lying beneath there is your New Jerusalem. This is where there are tunnels. We know there are tunnels under there from living in Caerwent when we were younger. My parents always taught the door, they could hear the doors. It was well known that there's a tunnel complex. The Americans still must maintain, there's some, well, whatever's underneath here, but I guarantee you there is some sort of city, and all these tunnels go off to Rome and everywhere else. All roads lead to Rome, and all tunnels lead back to a said Roman fort. It's not Roman, it was built by the Silures. It's Jerusalem, and it is the city of David. This is the key to the city of David. It's slightly broken, but just north of here is a place called Kemi's Commander. When you unscrabble it, it says Marco mend me key, or Marco mends me key. If you follow this line down, it takes you to Keynsham. It says it says Keys H-Man. When you follow the line straight, it hits exactly where I am now, or I've just explained. It hits directly to Eastleigh's Corsham. Yes, Atlas, Marco's H. This is all to do with the H-Man, but that's, if you check back other videos, that will become apparent. But well, like I say, it's hard to go right. But anyway, without further ado, so what we do, pinpoint the key, pinpoint the lock, go central on it, because there's your G code from Chepstow, there's your H code. Then, as I say, we follow it. Here's Chepstow. This is the town of Chepstow. The Cwtch Cafe. That's a code as well, Cwtch, but never mind. Right, so we follow it on. Pinpoint straight through. Where does it take us? I'll show you where it takes us. Pinpoint, smash bang, Nord Stream 2, permanently closed. They basically, obviously it's not the actual area of the pipes, but I think the message is quite clear. As you can see, all I do, the curve is natural, obviously on the Google Maps there's a curvature, but if I follow it, absolutely pinpoint through the coded place, see we stop, gas went, or from, all done from the G for Jerusalem. I've said all along, G is the lock, H is the key. This is to do with the H-Man as well. The Spear of Destiny that comes down from through Manchester, Secret H-Man. Even this place here is called Dinham. It's ID H-Man. Okay, I effectively am the H-Man. For, well, I know what it means, but anyway. Right, so just pause you a second, guys and girls, while I set up the next code. Okay, right, so the second part of this, the second code. So like they say, lightning doesn't strike twice. Well, it certainly does in this case. And what this is doing is proving that, number one, this is in fact a pre-planned by the creator. Yeah, he's putting this in my head to show you, to prove not only that he's real, he's obviously given us a safe zone, doesn't want you to die, but he's warning of everything that's coming. And there are warnings coming from every angle, and we are literally so close to the unthinkable happening, let's put it that way. And I've predicted all along that Russian boots will be on British soil at some point, and that's even encoded in the map. I predicted the Ukraine Russia's invasion of Ukraine before it happened, and everyone said then said it wouldn't. I also predicted 2.5 years ago, at least, that Britain would be Russia would be in Britain, and China would attack America. And it is looking highly likely. Well, it is going to happen. I have no doubt on that, and we are fast ahead in. So I ask you to please, understand this message I send. I'm not out to deceive anybody. Well, and I can't, because I'm showing you what is there. And obviously my name has been put into all this because obviously it's important, because this code, it just shows that Yah, the creator of all things, is timeless, and he knows everything. I mean, those forts that I've just used are thousands and thousands of years old. I think, we're talking BC time. But obviously he's aware of what, he's created. He says, I'll show you the end from the beginning, literally. But, okay, so the second one, let's just do this. Right, the key to this one is the key, which is the key fort that I've just showed you. This goes through a place called this is pronounced Pulmeric. Okay, so the first part is actually pull. Sorry, well, no, I correct that. Let's go Y. And there's also, just so you know as well, if you're new to this, all these places are coded. There's a place called Tallycoid, again, not far north from the key, and this says Alt Y code. So it's the Alt, code. All I do is anagram that and get Alt Y code. It's the alternate Y code, basically, in using it as a phonetic, and once you do, it starts to open up a whole lot more. Okay, so Y, I'm going to change this to a U. It's pronounced pull, it's just a Welsh thing. So what we have is Y pull crime. Okay. Well, again, I'm going to show you it on the map, but this again goes from the key through the message and hits directly on the, I think it's called the Kerch Bridge, in the place that anagrams a crime. So you have the key, Y pull crime, and then you go down to the crime, a crime, and the crime is the Kerch Bridge. Again, this is done because the two parties that are encoded in between the two forts, the former owner and the current owner, are clearly behind all of it. Basically, they are pushing to go to war. They want a war. The UK economy is collapsing. The Americans are not doing so well. It's all on a downward spiral. In fact, the whole house of cards is falling. But unfortunately, sadly, they would even stab their own neighbours in the back, because this is how satanic they all are, and they are satanic. And the leader of the Great Bear Country actually tells them that and if you listen to his speech of why he actually did what he did and going in, which is not what the media are telling you, but it's a totally different story to what we're being told. Obviously now, the Russia has just started, pulverizing, I think it's Kiev, is it? And they started to fight back basically and retaliate. But this is all just stopping peace from happening. And those that are behind it, like I say, this is going to be an Arkansas video, and I'm going to show you the arc when you can work the other bit out. Right, now I'm going to show you the arc, and the arc is quite relevant. Now, when you build an arc, or when an arc was needed the first time round, it's because the rain came. Okay, Second time round, it's going to be fire, basically. That's how it all ends, because the war is only the first part. There is something following that, but we won't get into that right now. But, you know, this ends with fire not, even though I'm going to show you a symbolic arc. It's being used, obviously, as to show the safe zone. But I only see these things when I need to. And obviously, having an arc, all you do is you say it's cue rain. In other words, get ready for the rain, or it's cueing the rain, as in, you know, like, well, we're definitely we're getting towards the final act, and cue rain. So the Ukraine, with this shelling coming over and going back into them, it's cueing the rain, I'm afraid, and the rain that's coming. Obviously, it started raining missiles down on Ukraine as well at this point in time. I hate to say it, people, but this is only going to get worse and escalate. So, you know, take what I'm saying with great, you know, I've been shown this for a reason. This whole thing is, to explain it is impossible in humanly terms. As I say, I don't know why. And when I ask why me, and I do ask it, believe me, why me? How can this be me? That's the one that's been sent to do it. What comes into my head is Moses said the same thing, Noah said the same thing, but it has to be somebody. And I have no doubt that somebody has to be me, because this is code everywhere. And this is not an ego trip, folks, because I really never looked for this. I would never believe the word of it a year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever it is. I don't know, I was living a normal life, not religious, not, like I said, never done code in my life. And I just, all of a sudden, things changed. Flash of light, Brecon Beacon being Mount Sinai, a sign high, being a Mount Sinai, and be a recon beacon, Brecon Beacon. To go into all this would take forever, but let me just hold you there. But the rain, basically, cue the rain. This is like cueing the actor coming, you know, queuing ready for the rain, basically. And the rain, this is why we need an arc, and I'm about to show you the arc and where it is on the map. As I said last time, I bet there's a place on the map where there's a boat, and sure as eggs there is. So, and it's coded with something absolutely remarkable as well. And something else I found should blow your mind. Right, okay, if this isn't already, I'll just show you the map of this, so I'll pause you a second. Okay, folks, right, with this one, we just go off the key. I've done it a little higher on the key, just to get it a little closer to the marker that you pull up for Polmeric. Effectively, and what's amazing, Chepstow is here, Polmeric is here, and these two coordinates end up on the complete opposite sides of, well, thousands and thousands of miles from each other, which is insane. But either way, so we follow the key, we go through Wypole Crime, and just save me a little bit of time. We go all the way across the other world. Bear in mind the Nord Stream pipeline's there. This is how accurate this is. So you follow this line all the way down, and it lands in the Crimea. This is I believe this is all the Crimea. This is the Crimean Bridge anyway. This is the Crimea. This is the Crimean Bridge. The Kerch Bridge. There's Kerch. And when you're going slowly, obviously it looks all in one piece on there, but obviously they've blown up half the bridge. You see it if you've seen it on the news, you'll see. I mean, I don't know which part of the bridge they've blown up. It could be up here, which would make it a bit closer to the actual word Polmeric. But as you can see, no coincidence. Pinpoint, there's the bridge. Just follow the line back. Where does it go? The key, Wypole Crime. This is the area of Polmeric. Obviously, it's not bang on the button, but then I can assure you this is Polmeric Hill. Unbelievable. And there you go. So that's two massively direct hits from the Matrix. Believe me, this is no coincidence. Okay, folks, just bear with me a second. Okay, folks, onto the arc. Okay, right. Just a little recap for anybody, again, or anybody that's new to this. This whole thing is based on the Fort Jerusalem is effectively based around the first part of it is based around G-Rus, the constellation G-Rus. Okay, now G-Rus, and you get the Mel as well from Clan Melin. You get the Lem or the G-Rus A. Well, if you reverse it, G-Rus A Mel, but it's Jerusalem. But right, the first thing, the message in the G-Rus constellation is the Guiana map message. On Guiana, there is mapped in places with an absolute complete message in it, clearly stating that Jerusalem is a fort, is the fort that I've decoded. You'll have to go back on this one, but otherwise I'll be forever. But this constellation came originally from this constellation, but it was broken down into 4 pieces. Right, the reason I'm showing this is obviously the 4 pieces. Well, this G-Rus shows it's all to do with a fort. And then the 3 other constellations, one is Carina the keel, one is Vela the sail, one is Puppis the stern. So when you put all 4 together, effectively it shows you that there's a fort and an arc, and it all combines into one, which is I'm about to show you where this arc is on the map and how it sits. But amazingly, the messages that are written in the stars, and when I say this Guiana map message, it's taken from all the stars in the G-Rus constellation, and it's I forget what it says. It says I map something about I run Guiana map, and the Mel that I hid in. Well, the Mel he hid in is the fact that it's got Marco written on one of the by a place called Bemel, in the message. Okay, but without confusing it too much. But each of these these 3 have got a message all concerning an arc, done the same way. I take the full star constellation, then you anagram them down and you create the message. I will point out that I did Vela on the last video. I got it slightly wrong. However, I will amend it now that I've got it all in one. But sometimes when I'm doing this, I just get so tired because I'm trying to deal with heavenly code with a human brain at the moment. But either way, right, I'm just going to put the messages. What I'll do is I'll put the constellations up so you can break them down and check them yourselves, or the stars in each constellation. Then I'm going to clear it, and then I'm going to put the actual message up that it breaks into, and you'll see how clever this is. Right, bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, folks, I'm doing it this way just so that anybody who wishes to write these down, and then they can see that I've pulled the messages. You can cross them off yourself. It'll fry your mind. Oh, it's so difficult to do sometimes because these letters, you start seeing double with it. But, or I do. Right, but these are the star constellation. These are the stars: Apodisc, Avor, Maya Placidus, Canopus. Then you've got Vela, that's Carina the keel, Vela the sails, Sufale, Ticine Key, Markab, Alsafina, and then Puppis the stern, Turiz, Asmidi, Ahadi, and Neos. Okay, now I'm going to show you what this breaks down to, and the reason I'm doing it this way is because these 3 messages basically all link together. Well, I say they link together; they're separate sentences, but it all relates to the very same thing. Okay, and then I'll show you the picture that it all. Well, then I'll show you some place names because all the parts for the arc are actually spread in code around the UK. And then when you pull them, well, you'll see now when I get to it. Bear with me. Okay, folks, right, the message, and I'll break down this message into what it means. Well, there's parts in this that are coded with place names as well, believe it or not. And one incredible code that when I actually put it in, translated the Welsh word for Caldecott into English, it is absolutely undeniably brilliant but incredible. Okay, so it says, IMAP as arc upon us. Right, now it uses a C. Now the C, this is even written that there's a difference. When you take the word Cardiff, it says arc diff, because there's different arcs. There's arcs, one is predominantly the one with the K is a boat, and the C is, is the, well, I can only say is the Archangel. Well, and I've got something to show you with that when we get to the boat, but there's a message on the boat that again states something absolutely incredible. But anyway, but I map as Ark upon us, but there's an Ark on the map, and I guess I'm the Archangel that's been sent upon you to ID a sail and tell you to pick a video, any video you want. I mean, the last video I did was about the Argus Navis, incredibly as well. The local news, or the paper for South Wales, is the South Wales Argus. You stick the Argus. Hang on, which one is it? Yeah, you stick the A at the beginning of the sentence and switch the last bit, and it says a South Wales G-Roos. So there's your Newport News as well, which is coded into the sickle for America, the tip of the sickle. So that's the point of all of it. And literally, okay. And what is coming? Okay, right. This is where it gets really bizarre. He's seen Ark H. Keel in map. Right. Now, unbelievably, I did not expect this, and I see, you know, obviously, right, the name for Caldicot, where the keel goes through a place called Caldicot, where I was brought up, funnily enough, which is relevant because that's even mapped into this whole thing. Right, the word Caldicot in Welsh is silicoid. I always wondered what this was, because you've got the wide code, you know, you just switch those two, you've got wide code, but CIL, well, I know CIL, L is Welsh as well, but when I don't know, again, it comes into my head to do these things from nowhere, and it just translate it into English, so I did. First bit, it came up with kill, which was a bit worrying, and then obviously it's a bit weird because you have to put the entire word in, because up to this point you get something with KIL, kill, and then it changes to something about trees, which I think is relevant as well, but I'll get to that. But then when I put in the entire thing, what this actually says, unbelievably, is so when you turn it round is Y keel code. You just couldn't make it up. Okay, so right, so yeah, so type in, if you do it, you can try it yourself, put it into Google, Welsh to English translator, put in silicoid, and it comes up with keel Y code. Unscramble it, it says Y keel code. Right, well, Y keel code in the place called Caldicot. This is his Welsh name, Caldicot is his English name. Well, there's two reasons, I'll come to the other. But literally the code for the keel actually runs, it's made up of the M4 motorway, is the bottom line, which runs directly through Caldicot. And like I say, you've got to see this to believe it. But understand, right, I need you to understand this. Right, I'm going to show you two, well, absolute crazy things that you will not, well, it defies logic. But the creator is so powerful and so mighty, I genuinely, it defies logic, and we're not, you know, this is dealing with something that knows everything, or someone that knows everything, and I kid you not, he's able to do all this and leave all this there, and then use somebody like me who's not even, you know, I'm not particularly intelligent or whatever, I certainly didn't go to university, never had done code, but I just, every time, without fail, I just instantly find these things, but I find them by triggers, and I can't even explain it. It's impossible to explain, but I know without any shadow of a doubt that I've been guided this whole thing from one thing to another, and it's, you know, and it's not that I can go into an atlas and there always seems to be these specific places where I live, where I work. Bethlehem, that's another area. And then you've got these pockets like the Marco Island key codes. You've got, oh, I don't know, but and the places with the pictures. But the only places that I can unscrabble code seem to be where they need to be. But they have been put there for me to find, and this has always been, well, it's been written into the plan that and clearly, you know, and I don't even know how to explain it, and I don't want to sound like some rambling madman. I see a lot of prophecy and people who do prophecies, and they tell you this angel spoke to them, or they, I don't know what they do, but they you know, and I don't know whether somebody's talking to them or whether they're just making it up. But the beauty of what I do is that I don't have to speak to anybody, and I don't, not literally, but I just download this information, or something downloads. I hear it fizzing in my head, not all the time, it's been quiet. You know, it goes quiet from time to time, and then it'll fizz back up again. And then all of a sudden, it all just literally it ravels in front of me. I find sometimes need to find one word, and it just instantly, I just somehow just, I'm able to just uncode an entire code within it from it. And I mean, and I've done it over and over and over, and I cannot explain in humanly terms how that is possible. So without a shadow of a doubt, believe me, the man above is real. He really does exist. I have no doubt about it. There's no question in my mind. He's obviously placed everything into existence to be found now, and this is how this story goes. But anyway, there we go. Anyway, so they're right. Let's get back to it. Okay, so silicoid keel. Why code the keel? Why keel code, or why code keel, whichever way, it doesn't matter. But I'll show you why. The Caldecott is in the keel code. I'll show you that with a map. Okay. So we've seen arc H is key as well. The Mellin H, like I say, the G and the H is key. So we've seen arc keel in map. So seen arc key in map, maybe, whichever way. But you sail at Saab. Right, the sail is written in Salisbury, just to give you an example, it's written in Salisbury. Salisbury says, sail by, bear with me, I'll show you all the breakdown of where you find all these parts for the ship. But Salisbury is Salisbury, Wiltshire, sail by Roos, because the sail is by Roos, or G Roos. H Wilt Rise is Wiltshire. So you sail at Saab. Well, the Saab, the Caldecott, and the M4 makes the bottom of the boat, the keel of the boat. And the boat and the keel runs parallel to the Severn River, which was the Sabrina. This is where you get your Saab from. And this is where you get your Saab bath. This is what the real meaning of the Saab bath is. It's the bath, it's like the symbolic bath in the River Saab. And as for Sabrina, when you take the word Severn Estuary, it says "say never true." Exactly, you know. So it's written. This code is written in everywhere. But the Saab is the River Saab, and then all you did was take your bath. You're at Roos Day, which is Saturday, and Roos obviously is on the Saab. It's literally like it sits. Well, you'll see now when I show you the map. But so the Saab is the river, so you sail at Saab. You sail at the river Sabbath, basically, or the River Saab, which is the River Severn. Okay, which is also seen RV Severn, but which is what the ship is as well. It's the rendezvous point, as I'll show you, where the rendezvous point is for the symbolic ship. Obviously, it's not who knows how this ends, but. Well, I know how it ends, but but either way, it's symbolic of the safe zone, whichever way you look at it. So, but that's the code in it. So that ties up the river. Sail as well as Salisbury. I'll show you the other parts, like the Arc Keel is Carkeel in Cornwall. A place called Carkeel, Saltash. Actually, I won't tell the same now. I'll write them up, but. Right, okay, so moving on. Noah is true as said. I am. I don't know whether, well, I'm assuming, and I mean, I'm reading it from as it is. Noah is true as said. I am. Well, firstly, is ID and is an ark, which is going to be needed, the same as Noah needed one. Obviously, a different type of ark. It's a safe zone. But Noah is true as said. So it's telling the story. Noah is true, as is said in the Old Testament. And I am. I'm assuming that it's almost like I'm guessing Noah Mark II. And I've got to build this ark because the Ukraine Cue rain is starting to fall. Oh, right, okay. Right, what else is there on this one? As Ark upon us. ID Sale, I'll ID the Sale, that's Salisbury as well. You Sail at the Saab. Right, okay, I'll just hold you there and I'll show you where all the parts for the ship are in the land. Okay, folks, just like I say, first thing you got to do is find, well, this is what it seems, you got to obviously find the parts for the Ark. I don't know whether it could be a few more, I'm not sure, but these are well, this is pretty much the bulk of the whole thing. These are not actual coordinates of the Ark, but it's just showing you that you can literally draw lines, point them all at the picture of the Ark that I'm going to show you, or the ship, the Argus Navis, because even that's got more code in it yet. But just to show you, you've got Car Keel Saltash, Ark Keel as last H. That could be Ark's Keel Atlas, or Atlas Keel, Ark's Atlas Keel possibly, but either way, whichever way you read it, it's clear what it is. So the Ark Keel, that's obviously Devon Cornwall border, I think, or it's one side or t'other. Then you've got Salisbury Wiltshire, Sail by Roos, H Wilt Rise. H being, again, is just a key. This is what it means. It's a key, and it all relates to the key and being the key to all of this. Right, Earl Sterndale Buxton. This one's up north, and how I found this, I don't know, but it says real stern lead, but on X. X, right, X is the crossing where the bow crosses, the arrow crosses the bow, because there's actually a bow, which is a bow. It doubles up as a bow on the ship as well, where the bow crosses. So that one's all coded in as well. Then you've got Crew Chester. There's probably a code in Cheshire as well, but when I pulled it up on the map, it shows Crew Chester. That's the address it gives. He crew secret. Well, I'm trying to crew the secret by getting people to get on board the ship, basically. You know, get on board right with the creator, and you know, well, obviously when the time comes, this is where you got to head to the Ark, and I'll show you the animals heading to the Ark in a bit as well, which is absolutely crazy. Okay, Hull Humberside. Me hull be hid Roos. Well, it is hid in, you know, it's in an arranged Roos. And then I've just realised this one, Newark. It's probably something in Nottinghamshire as well, or Nottingham, but it's a new Ark. So these are sort of all the parts that you need to construct. You know, well, if you were going to construct an Ark, but it's just showing you that this all connects with the stars, with the Atlas, all in the last message. In an Ark, and an Ark, you couldn't put a better thing than knowing what happened on the first sort of regenesis, which is what this is all about. It's a regenesis coming, and this is written in the Tower. If you go back over those videos, I mean, it just all connects in the most amazing way. It's impossible that the creator of all things, I'm not clever enough to even pull this together, never mind it, you know, and I couldn't put it there. No man could put it there, and this is why he's done it. This is why even the Gold Testament, which has been massacred, and you know, the new one's a complete and utter fake, and this is all about tribes, arcs, you know, and getting people in a safe zone. He doesn't want you to, you know, what's coming is not good. But anyway, I'll just move on, bear with me. Okay, folks, right, as I say, there are animals connected with this in the most bizarre way. Okay, the core of the map of I'll show you the ship, but, right, it starts off, there's basically a label at the bottom, which is Noah's Ark Farm Zoo. This is where the centre core line runs up through a place where I lived as a lad in Caldecott. Right, now, the picture in Noah's Ark Zoo, the place that it directly hits on a giraffe on a maze. So the beginning of it starts on a maze, then it moves up and it goes to, well, it literally crosses the place where I was in a cot, and the connection with it is right. Well, firstly, Camelab, whatever it is, Marco P.I. Lad. Okay, now this is the code in it, is Caldecott. The silicoid as well, obviously, is C Lad I Cot. Well, when we moved from Kyle Wen, which is unbelievably where the lock is, because I lived in the temple, or the house that was on the temple when I was born, basically. My parents lived there, literally 15 feet probably from the actual lock that I showed you earlier. But the top of the line, well, let's say this, the line runs from the giraffe on the maze at Noah's Ark Farm Zoo, runs directly through the house that in Caldecott, where I live, where I spent my time in the cot, and then goes and then hits directly smack bang between the lock on the temple and the house that I lived in when I was in the crib. So it literally is almost like saying that I was born to, I guess, well, stick my neck out for one. That's what part of the giraffe is, because I've had to stick my neck out and say these things, and to say what I'm saying, just, I would never say it. It's just not something that I would normally say. Well, I wouldn't even entertain it. In fact, I can't sometimes, you know, even say, the only reason I'm saying, I'm connecting all these things is because it's there in code. And really, you know, what it says is absolutely crazy, but it is without doubt there, and it connects in so many different ways. Like I say, I'm talking through, you know, logic, not through fantasy of being speaking, like I say, speaking to angels, or I never even thought I would be doing this. But anyway, right, okay, so Sea Lad I caught. What's the giraffe got to do with it? Well, as you'll see, I lived on Longfellow Road. Well, you don't get much more of a Longfellow than a giraffe. When I show you this map line, it is bizarre, but it's the central point of the mast. I wasn't going to do this one, but right, there's some. Right, okay, I'll show you all this, how this all connects. But yeah, but effectively, you've got this picture of a, I don't know, a giraffe. It goes from there, comes straight through, goes through literally the back garden of this masonette block thing we lived on. The bottom flat there was, and you'll see it, like pinpoint. It goes up through, and then and the place it stops at the top where the sails go off, because the sail by G Roost, sail by Roost is the Salisbury. But at the top there, this is, well, there's the lock literally. And there's the house that I lived in. It's like sort of smack bang between the two. So it's almost like you were born to stick your neck out, create an ark, and go, well, so I guess so to be the herdsman, the Boots constellation as well. Boots is so to be, and then it's called the herdsman, and all those clues again. That star constellation says exactly the same thing. It's almost like we're calling in, well, the animals already starting to rear up, as you'll see, because I've got an elephant to show you, yeah, and that was absolutely crazy. But just to show you, Camelot, this is another star constellation that connects with this entire thing. The Camelot, Marco P.I. Lad, what does he mean by that? Caldecott. Sea Lad I cot. Well, I was cotted in Caldecott. That's exactly where I was in the cot. We lived there 7 years before we moved back to Cowent again, to where where we live now. Oh no, we live somewhere else in Cowent, and then we moved back, and then we're in the place we live now, where I'm living at this point. But this is the giraffe, Longfellow Road, but you couldn't make it up, but it pinpoints all the way through. It's absolutely bizarre. Well, it's not bizarre, it's miraculous. Anyway, I'll just hold you there a second. Okay, folks, as you can see in front of you, we got the, well, what is the Argus Navis, effectively. Right. Okay, right, this one's a bit of a weird one, because it doesn't actually give you pinpoint coordinates as such, like a lot of the pictures will give you pinpoint coordinates, but when you fix all the clues together, it clearly makes this boat. As you can see, right, let me just put it into layered, right, okay. First and foremost, let me just show you the giraffe. I'm hoping you'll be able to see this. Okay, this is Noah's Ark Farm Zoo, and there's this there is the giraffe in the maze. So you've got all these animals, effectively. Right, now, this is, like I say, this gets so crazy. Right, when I follow this up, because this is how I had to work out how to put this thing together, but What it crosses the Seen RV as well, the 7. So we've seen, so you've got Noah's Ark, Seen RV. Okay, there's a message at the end of this as well, which each bit locks into place. Right, now what you've got, this is the, I think it's called the rudder. I mean, I can make this a little bit more rudder-like. But what you've got, this is the rudder. Right, this is the keel. This is the M4 motorway that runs through and passes through, and well, it's under. But this is Caldicot. This is the M4 motorway. You've also got the M48 there, but that one comes up with something else. Right, the back end of the ship, literally, all I've done is follow this hedge line. What it does, it also follows the railway line, but here's the important bit. Right, so this line comes up from Noah's Ark Farm Zoo. This flat here is where I lived, as you can see, on Longfellow Road. This is your giraffe. Marco, was it Clei Lad or whatever it is, or Clei Lad? Well, Caldicot is See Lad I Cot. Well, this flat here is the exact flat that I lived in as a lad on the Longfellow Road, which is your giraffe. I know it sounds bizarre, people, but without doubt, this is it. I get cross lines because I've got to make this out. But it literally follows up long, as you can see, Longfellow Road all the way up. So this line was all up Longfellow Road. This line is up Longfellow Road. Shakespeare, that's interesting as well, because the spear, well, there is a very big spear as well, which identifies the H-man. Coincidence? I don't know, but either way. Right, when I keep following it, if you follow this up now to make, as you can see, to make the sort of mast. And this hits, let's just put that there, directly. This is the house that I lived in the crib when I was, this is where I was inserted into the matrix, basically. Not where I was actually physically born, but when your spark of life comes in, it's before that happens. Well, my mother was carrying me in the womb when we lived in this exact flat, roughly here. To only 51 years later to come along and then find this is the womb of the matrix, and that's what it represents. But obviously the lock was put on the matrix. We were turned away. This is why everything's gone wrong. I've come along, woke up, or been woken up in the most amazing way, like a stranger in a strange land, because I knew nothing about any of this sort of thing, and how I even work it out is without, well, I don't do it. And then what you've got then left behind is up here is the key that unlocks it all. Well, this is your Sail by G. When it said about the Sail by G Roos, because this is the fort, G Roos. Like I say, that's the lock on the fort. The sail is by G Roos. Like I say, there is no actual particular code. This one is Grey Hill View. Well, that one relates to the bow, the bow and arrow that is made up, that you create. And it doubles up as the bow of the ship as well, but it's symbolically. But there's a bow here somewhere that goes from the Grey Hill Standing Stone, so it says View Grey Hill, so that's what that's saying. It says, where is it? If I move it, it should say it somewhere. Yeah, Grey Hill View. There it is. So it's the Grey Hill View. That basically does it. There's a ship. You know, this picture just glows at glue. Well, I don't even know how to explain it, but you know, when something jumps out that you literally, well, I can't even explain it. But this effectively is the motorway, which is makes the front of the ship. This one actually, yeah, this one runs past the house. You even got the railway line, and this is symbolic as well, the fact that there's tunnels. Bear in mind, there's two, this says Seen RV, there's two RVs. There's the RV is the safe zone for us, but there's also a military RV, which is where all your elites are going to run to when they kick this war off, which is why they're not concerned about it. The Vatican, all your elite families and all the filth that runs this earth and is pushing for war. See, you also see the West End. This is my first school, actually, West End School. So the West, the end of the West, that is signifying. This one's interesting, Llanfihangel Roget, because what that says is angel forget, all a H. But when you use my actual name, Marco Guy, it says, you go, my ark, and then you go on to this, and then it says angel forget, I all in H, I think it is. So even that there is coded to saying that I was an archangel. But there's also a warning in there as well. Where is it? I think it's get on board. Roget is all I get, and then this is Justo, which is what's due, but obviously spelt. But you've also got where are you? You've got Langstone, which is note slang. So it's telling you, it uses like slang language, so it covers the slang language, because this one says yep Marco Roos. Oh, there's so much code in this. This is open to Tetragrammaton. The clan fear is code. This is the land, the secret of the pharaohs, that they know that they made up their saviour, but that's another story. Interesting, we're on a Prince of Wales bridge as well, given that what's just happened with the Queen. I do think this is a timeline. But as you can see, this is basically the Argus, the Argus Navis, and obviously split up into a G Rus, the constellation of G Rus. Well, the G Rus is here, the sail is here, the keel is here. The stern is here, a stern lead, but on X. This whole area is X. X marks the spot where the safe zone is. And what's the other one? You got the steel, the keel, stern. Oh, and the sail. Yeah, so the sail, the stern, and the keel. But all program, it's all. This is a map tricks. That is what all this is about. The matrix is map tricks. There is no doubt in my mind. And it says on the, on the what does it say? I map as arc upon us. ID sail. Pick a video. So ID the sail. Salisbury is the sail. Sail by sail by Roos. Well, the sail is by Roos. This is gone by the map, the constellation messages. Right. You see an arc H. Keel in map, that's the Y code keel. Well, the keel is on the motorway, which sits, and then it says you sail at Saab. So this is the Saab, this is the sail, you sail at Saab, this is the keel. This all connects, and then you've got the Noah is true as said. I am Noah, I guess, building the ark and ready, because this is not the only safe zone message. You've also got the combination safe zone, or the combination safe zone in Solomon's symbology as well, which gives you the exact same place. But the key to all of this is not Caldecott or anywhere. The center point is here. This is where it is. Well, this is where my caravan, which is, I'll show you the code in that now, just quickly. In fact, bear with me, because I've got a bit more to go through yet. Okay, folks, just to show you, right, so what this map does, it goes from Noah's Ark at the bottom, through the River Severn, and then you've got the Argus Navis ship. Okay, there's a message in this. Noah's Ark, seen RV, is a G Roos van. Well, a van is a caravan. It's like, I don't get it. Well, I do get it, but incredibly, what it's telling you is the rendezvous point. An RV is not only a rendezvous point, an RV is actually a caravan. A caravan is an RV. So what this is telling you is that when the time comes, the meeting place to be, to get on the symbolic ark, I guess, is my caravan, which sits just outside the walls. You tell me, but it's there. Again, I'm only telling you what's in code, and that is the code in the Argus Navis. Okay, right, now I've got one more thing to show you that's absolutely incredible. and defies logic, but then doesn't it all, it all defies logic, but put it all together and there's no way it's coincidence, folks. Right, bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, folks, right, this one's absolutely incredible. Now, I've looked at this map a million times. Well, you know, obviously I don't know, but I've looked at this map many, many times, and everything I've done is off, well, most of it is off these maps or stars or whatever. But there is something that once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And absolutely bizarrely, there's a message that goes with it. So, right, I'm about to show you, you could call it the elephant in the room, I'm not sure. But well, obviously the significance of this is well, it's again all to do with the ark, and the animals are the first ones to sense danger. And I think this is what this is symbolising, that there's you know, the danger's coming. We've got the Ukraine is cue the rain. Now the animals are sort of like going or heading towards the ark, like the giraffe. And all along there's been like cancer. There's the crab. We've got the crane. You've got well, as you'll see, an elephant. You've got a giraffe. Yeah, I even think you go as far as say the monkey, which is the key in Mon. The monkey is the donkey, the Nod key, or the Swindon key. The wins the donkey. I mean, the walrus, the walrus. I could go into this, but believe me, this code is deep. But just to show you, right, and like I said, Yah makes everything happen that he wants to happen. He says, I spoke it and it will happen. And it sure is, because he's planned everything, even to how he does it. You know, man, we think that we you know, I don't know how he does it, but obviously with things that he needs in the matrix or the matrix, he clearly operates in the minds of men, and he puts it in their head. Like my parents called me Marco, but obviously it was already written into the map. So he clearly said, I named you before you were born, or surnamed you before you were born, and a guy surnamed Roy, I'm a mapper. That's in Guyana message. But you can see it's a mind that is so great and so, well, you just can't comprehend it. But clearly I'm proving without a doubt it's there. And right, then here goes another one, and wait till you see this. Right, the elephant. Right, I found the elephant first because it just, all of a sudden I was looking at the map and there it was. And like I said, I've looked at this map a million times, but I looked at it and it's unbelievable. But you'll see what I mean now. Right, firstly, you've got to, well, I found the message after, but I knew there was going to be a message about an elephant somewhere in there, and it is, and they're all within, in and around this elephant's head. Right, these places, Mathen, Leechpool, Parkwall, Hayes Gate. These are just down the road from where I live, basically, between my place and Chepstow. Right, so we've got, the message is elephant, yeah, map her, right, because he's mapped her, she's in the map. Tag C locked wall. Well, I'll show you what this means now. Bear with me 2 seconds and I'll just set you up to see the map. Okay, folks, there she is. There's the elephant in the map. And this is all made up, funny enough, this is the trunk road. Perhaps could be a bit longer. I think this might be there because this is Will Creek. Remember I said about the stiff neck people? This is why you've got a creek there. Again, and right. When the message says tag C lock wall, well, let me show you why it says that. Because this elephant, I'm assuming the eye would be somewhere around here, I'm guessing. But if you look here, there's the lock. This is the wall, the front wall. So the elephant is literally heading for the place. She's locked onto the, and this is what I mean. She's locked onto the ark as well. I'm guessing she can see it and she's heading for it. But what this is the M4. This is the M48. The ear is made up. There's one bridge. There's the second bridge. This is the A403, and this is the main trunk road into Wales. And there's no accident. This is the trumpet, and what she's doing is blowing the trumpet in Sion. Sion again is. Well, without going into the full code, but you could say Sion is sign on. It's a G and an N, which is a G and a snare to Jerusalem. G and N is the word for gin. So it's a gin and a snare to Jerusalem. It's another code, but I won't get into that right now. But as you can see, this is the riverbank. There's another inlet by there, which gives you the bit of the year. I mean, I could have gone to 10, probably. You could probably make the whole elephant here if you look. I haven't done it, but in reality, yeah, I think that probably is the entire elephant, actually. But either way, I've tagged her with the front there. These are all the main roads. There's the M5. There's the M4 coming across the Prince of Wales Bridge, all the way up till it gets to, well, wherever this trunk should end. I don't know. Maybe she's telling you there's a new port for the Ark. But this is the trunk road. This is the M48, which is the old trunk road into Wales and over the old bridge. But as you can see, Yara's made it and created an elephant. She's seen the RV again. She's heading to the lock and the lock and the wall. That's what, you know. That's why I tagged the lock and the wall. Look at her eyesight. Where is she looking? Straight at it. There it is. Somewhere there, roughly. I think it's pretty clear that she's looking for the Ark. So I think we can take that as a warning sign to what is coming. People, I know. Yeah, well, I'm sure some people will possibly think I'm crazy, but. Look, you know, well, I can't, you know, I can only do what I can do. But I am not, you know, I've done all this. I've had to stick my neck out, yes. I'll let you have a look at it. But, you know, I have had to stick my neck out. I gave up everything to do this, literally. And how I got here is bizarre. Well, it's bizarre, but it's clearly planned and miraculous. You know, this world is not what we think it is. I can tell you that now. It's I don't know what it is. Well, I do and I don't. But without getting into too much waffle, guys and girls, what you need to do, okay, prepare yourselves mentally. That's what you need to do. And the one thing you must do is put your hands up, stand in the letter Y, and basically, in fact, let me pause you a second. There's one thing I want to show you because right, that's critical. Bear with me. Okay, just I feel like I need to do this one because I'm about to tell you to basically put your hands up, stand in the letter Y, come clean to everything you've done. But what you must not do, and I know Christians are going to hate this, but I've already shown you the code in Mega Whitsun, Undy Mega Whitsun, which says Ungod Mary with Son. They put it in with a cross. It uses the same word, or the Mega is the cross word. And the Mega says, Mega Horeb Sodom, they're all places in Wales. The code in that says, be Sodom and Gomorrah, then it's Ungod Mary, and then with Son at the bottom, makes, you know, and it symbolises with a cross. Right, this connects to it. I don't know where, this probably connects in more things yet, but I'm just pushed to make this point. Abergavenny, okay, well, I haven't got anything else that links with it specifically other than I got this one and it showed me, and I could never fathom this one. I saw gave, any, everything but it's, right, YB graven, right, well what he says is something about your graven images, right, simple, YB graven, because it has the word grave in it, it's about something that's dead, okay. Now, I know people are not going to like it, but your idols of wood, stone, and whatever else, what other in this modern day and age is a grave image, for one, because we put it on a grave. Secondly, there's a dead person or a supposed dead person on it, but it didn't even, well, I'm not saying, I don't know whether somebody existed and they hijacked an identification of somebody, but he certainly is not the Son of God, and he certainly hasn't got this whole thing, Christianity, you've been lied to, and I've shown it in many codes as well. Bethlehem is be the Melh and all the rest, everything that goes with it. But your idols of wood and stone that cannot see, cannot breathe, cannot hear, walk, or whatever. I don't know. There's this, but effectively, it clearly is showing that it's an image of a person that doesn't exist because it can't breathe, see. You know, and you're expected to put your faith in this entity from a book that could have been written by anybody, and it was written by anybody because it's been written by whatever the roots of Rome are with Britain, or I'm not sure, but but it's not, he is not going to save anyone. And the whole reason I'm getting shown all these maps and everything else is to show you that and what I'm showing you is he is proving that he exists, and he is. He's showing the matrix that he put out there. He's showing you all the map tricks, stars, everything, you know, to show you the end time safe zone. There is no man coming on a horse from out of the sky to come and rescue anybody. While you're, and you know, I hate to say it, but a lot of people are going to die needlessly because they will not listen or they will not hear, because they've been indoctrinated. That's why it's called doctrine, into believing this manuscript. Yeah, and scriptures is script ruse as well. It's a ruse, sorry. It's a ruse script. It's you know, all of it. It's been designed to mislead people, and by the time you realise that he's not coming, then it's too late. One of the codes says, "Don't sheep not tag mon." It's the dart. I can't remember the full message, but a sheep not tag mon, rue not, cannot win. And this is what it's saying, because people just, you know, just not going to hear it. But if it's anything, this says, and why be graven, and any be graven. So any be graven image is your crosses. This is what you put on a grave. This is, you know, my point is, when you stand in the letter Y, with your feet together, basically, put your hands up, there's your palms, your sins go on it. You stand there and you know, you put your head down. Look familiar? Yeah. Anyway, there's some blasphemy in this, but this is how you do it. You put your head down, you put your sin in the palm, and believe me, he is real. 100%. There's no way he cannot be. I've no doubt. I know he's real, and he knows everything you've done. There's no doubt. I've been through all this. Believe me. And when he wants. Anyway, without getting into it, you need to put your sins on your palm, put your head down, and ask for forgiveness. There is, right, I am your God, I am your Saviour, there is no other. I can't save you. Even I had to be saved to be able to bring this message. I had to be saved, cleaned up. So, you know, obviously, and even by doing this, all I'm doing is following. I'm just, well, the vessel, the Argus Navis, I guess, the vessel that basically guides you to where you need to go. And I'm here to prove that he is real, and this is a complete, utter lie. Ungod Mary, with son, be Sodom and Gomorrah. Check my last video and it'll show you. But Abergavenny, be any, I think that could be why be graven, and be any graven. Well, any graven image, the grave, that's what gives it away. This is a grave image, and the grave of the dead person on it is cannot see, cannot speak, cannot hear. The false idol, the idol of Egypt, it's Horus. This is why you have the eye dollar, the eye on the dollar, and it's the doll. It's coded in Dol Ra. It's the false. There's Egypt. This is your modern day Egypt. Your false idol. And the story of Horus and the Amen Ra. Amen. And they are men. That's what it is. It's men that have created this entity, but this entity goes back to ancient Egypt. And when you say Amen, you are literally giving homage to Amen Ra. And the same people who worship Amen Ra with their false idol Ra are the same people as the Vatican. They're the same. And the church is the fish that blindly follows the Leviathan head. People, you need to get out of the church. So when he says get out of her, he means, that's what he's telling you, is get out of the church. Freemasonry, that's as bad. They're hiding it. The Vatican, they're behind it all. Babylon is the financial, you know, the baby lion, really, is the city of London. It's the baby lion. It's the tiny little lion that's ruling, well, in the background, that's controlling the finances, in tow with the Vatican. And then you've got the father Canaan, which is Babylon, Britain. You've got the mother is the whoring mother is the Vatican and the church, I'm afraid. And then you've got the America is all to do with the Horus, the sun. It's like the unholy trinity. You couldn't get a more unholy trinity. But they're leading you to destruction while they're building their pyramid and underground bunkers. By the time you realise that Jesus isn't coming, it could be too late. You just need to, honestly, and I don't, I'm not just saying. Well, obviously, I'm quite sure they're going to call me the Antichrist, but I am against, because their Christ is not the Christ. It's a false Christ. They've created it and then turned you against the one that brings the message and make him look like an Antichrist. But there you go. But the real Antichrist is the Vatican in itself, the whole thing, the whole system. We're in a pyramid system of slavery that is soon to be broken. And the Russian bear, I can tell you now, is going to be a big part of that. It is. He says a bit like a bear deprived of the whelps when he comes through. And there's a code for that. It's a place called Wimpole, just across the water. And when the bear goes, this is in sort of Devon, I think, or that sort of area, or North Somerset, or somewhere around there, or Wiltshire, or somewhere. But it's called Wimpole, and it says be whelps, or we whelps, or no, be whelps, I think it is. But it's showing that they're going to come through. He's going to come through. The mother bear, or as is Russia, is going to sweep through. But the safety is in Rus. For whatever reason, they're going to overflow the sanctuary. And this is why the safe zone is in Rus. How it's going to all pan out, I don't know exactly, but I'm 100% confident I know where I'm going to be when this all takes place. The big test for you, and this is where the faith, not faith, the trust comes in, but this is giving you to show you that this is not all made up. They've got backable code in the most miraculous way, hundreds and hundreds of them going back, I suspect. And it all keeps saying the same thing in the most impossible way, with pictures that match star constellations map ground places, and like I say, you just could not make this up. So please, people, just get right with the Creator. Get your hands up. Stand the letter Y. It's not for nothing, believe me. And even if you're in America, Australia, wherever you are, as long as you've got right with Yah, he'll do. Let me tell you, he can do anything. He controls the old matrix, matrix, the construct Zion, the whole thing. And if you're meant to get here and you've done the right thing, you will. But the other thing is, please share these videos. And I don't care. I will stick my neck out and say that I'm chosen to send. Well, I clearly am, or I wouldn't be being able to show you what I'm showing you, because I couldn't do this on my own. There is no doubt. Anyway, hopefully, well, I don't know how many more videos there will be before this goes into things change, but Yah's blessings all the same. And please get right with him, and I'll catch you on the next one. Please let me know if this is hit. If be not, I don't, there's no need for it. If anyone wants to be negative, just go somewhere else and get off the channel, and then your fate, is in your own hands, whatever. But if anybody just make a comment just to say that they're seeing that what I'm showing you is genuine, it would help me just to know that I do get down with this, and I've been down a bit the last couple of weeks, because it just feels like sometimes I'm doing all this, but I don't know whether it's actually hitting home. And I don't want to, bottom line, I don't want to see anybody die. That's the truth. The evil ones, whatever Yah's got in for them, they deserve it, and they'll be, but there's so many people out there that need to see this message and know where to go. It really is the most critical message in history. And like you can see that I'm not making this up. This stuff is there, and and there's no way, if anybody thinks you can do the next person that's an anagram, you can anagram anything. Well, you anagram it, find and identify the real Jerusalem, and have hundreds of codes to tell you why it is, where it is. Have your own family name mixed into it, the tell. Oh, like there's so many. It's just a Loctite code. It really is. But please just do this. This is critical to do this. Absolutely critical. Okay, and anyway, until the next one, Yah's blessings.